All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is Tuesday, November 25th at 7 o'clock, 2025. I call this meeting of the Chelmsford Conservation Commission to order. My name is Carl Bischoff. I'm the chair of the commission. We will be following the published and posted agenda with a couple of minor changes. This meeting is both in person and through the Zoom. In the case of Zoom not working properly, we will continue the meeting in person only. This meeting is being broadcast and recorded by Chelmsford Telemedia and will be available on their website and on YouTube. And we have a quorum. And do we have, let's see, so agenda notes and adjustments. So let me just say up front that we have 8 items on our regulatory hearing agenda. This is the most I've seen in quite a while. So I asked my fellow members and people in the audience to try to keep things on track. Take my apologies now if I speak up and say, let's move things along. I'm not trying to cut anybody off, but stay on track and keep things pertinent and concise. Because we don't really want to be here all night, but we still want to have a quality hearing for everyone and do a good job. We are going to do one move in the agenda. We're going to slide the NOI for the pro-generation solar field from the 7th slot to the 3rd slot in the hearing list. And just so everyone knows, if they are here for the Chelmsford Mall, that applicant is withdrawing their NOI. We will still have a vote to close the hearing, I think. Is that the right proper thing, David? So we'll do that at the right time. But if you're here for that hearing, there won't be any discussion, so. Open session, we are a commission for the town. If there's anyone here that has any comments or complaints or issues relative to Conservation Commission properties or anything in our bailiwick, and you'd like to speak up, come on up. You have a chance. If it's not on the agenda. Okay, and first up is our liaison from the planning board. Hello, Chris, good evening.
Good evening. For the record, Chris Lavalley, chair of the planning board. Last meeting we had was November 12th, quite a while ago now. We've opened our 2 fire station public hearings. We closed out the 191, 195 Riverneck Road with a denial of the special permit for the outdoor contractor yard. We heard 133 Princeton Street, major site plan review, and the 152 Stedman solar farm. We closed out 10 Independence Drive hearing as well. Next meeting is December 10th, so in a couple weeks. We will likely close out and vote on the 2 fire station projects as well as Stedman Street. Hopefully we're close to closing out the 133 Princeton project. And we are going to start discussing our next set of zoning articles for the Springtown meeting. The select board is going to sign the warrant in mid-February. So we'll have essentially 3 meetings for zoning articles for Springtown meeting. So we're going to be discussing which ones we want to bring forward this round. That's it.
Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it,
thanks.
Chris. Appreciate the update. Okay, first up, we have a notice of intent, Town of Chelmsford, 260 Old Westford Road. Sarah Shackman and Greenman Peterson are here to represent the applicant, and we have a notice of intent. Please, Mr. Carrigan.
Mr. Chairman, the legal notice pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187. The Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public hearing here at Room 204 at the Chelmsford Town offices. And on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, at 7 p.m. to consider the notice of intent filed by the property owner, Town of Chelmsford, for proposed work, 100-foot buffer zone, to bordering vegetated wetlands at 260 Old Westford Road, further identified as Assessors Map 58/Block 276/Lot 1. The project entails demolition of the existing fire station, followed by the construction of a new 8,408 square foot gross floor area fire station with associated parking and storm water management infrastructure, installation of utilities, grading, and landscaping. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Well, hope everybody's doing well. For the record, Gary Ryan, Fire Chief. Thankful to be here. I know we're talking about Engine 3 tonight, but I just want to say my thanks to the Finance Committee, Select Board, Town of Chelmsford voters for their strong support of both Engines 3 and 5. Chris was up here earlier talking about us going through the planning board. We've also gone through zoning board of appeals. And quite frankly, we've done very well based on the strong support we've gotten from our residents. And we are truly thankful for that. So I think the design team, they're here. They've done a good job, really looking at our fire safety needs and trying to come up with a design that adequately addresses those needs. So we are thankful to be here, share those plans with you, and try to answer any questions you may have. So thank you, and happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is David Jordan, engineer and land surveyor with Greenman Peterson, and here tonight to present this project. Also with me here this evening is Shara Shackman. She just passed out some plans to you. These are the plans that were submitted originally. However, we've kind of highlighted the wetland and buffer zones on these plans to make it a little bit easier to see, because on the black and white versions it gets a little confusing.
We appreciate that.
So, as the chief said, we're here tonight to talk about Station 3, 260 Old Westford Road. The existing fire station, built in 1970, is slated to be torn down. The parking associated with it, the pavement associated with it, removed, and a new 8,400 square foot station constructed in more or less the same general area. I want to focus on the existing conditions first, just to have the commission understand what's going on out there. So again, on the plan I handed out and the larger plan here, we have shown your 25-foot no disturbance, your 30-foot no impervious.
Sorry to interrupt. So is that in the plan set that was submitted, that
Yes.
that sheet V100?
Yes, that
Can't
would
seem to find it. So
that would be the third sheet in the plan set that was submitted with a notice of intent.
The third sheet, okay.
Yeah, that looks,
Okay, there it is. Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, not a problem. All right, so as I was saying, the 30-foot no impervious, the 50-foot building setback, and of course, the 100-foot buffer zone. As you can see, the existing fire station is essentially fully within the 100-foot buffer zone. Probably just by chance, it does sit just outside the 50-foot building setback. However, you can see that the pavement that's out there today is well within both the 30 and 25-foot setbacks. And in fact, down near Old Westford Road, the edge of pavement is probably within 10 feet of the edge of wetlands out there. So our office, we did have the wetland scientist from our office flag the wetlands. Up by Old Westford Road, those are wetlands associated with the outfall from the pond, the outflow from the pond, which sits back a little bit further. So back in this area here, this is wetland edge associated with the large pond that's on the property here. Also, out there currently, there is a garage building at the back of the site. This, I believe, is used by the Recreation Department and Emergency Management. That structure will remain, as you'll see on the next plan here. So again, the intent is to remove the building, remove all the pavement, and reconstruct. And then, now flipping pages here to the other sheet we passed out. So we have the same buffer zones are highlighted, same edge of wetlands. I failed to point out that the tree line, existing tree line, which is not changing, is also highlighted here. So between even the existing pavement and the wetlands, there is an area that's grass before you get into the wooded area that's to remain out there. So on the second plan, so this is a color-up of a grading and drainage plan. The area highlighted in yellow, that's all existing pavement that will be removed with this project. So we're pulling back the edge of pavement significantly away from the wetland on the order of about 25 feet or so. The proposed building, again, 8,400 square foot, new fire station. We are well outside the 50-foot building setback. The pavement, with one minor exception, is now going to be outside your 30-foot impervious setback. The only exception is a slight intrusion into it right at this location here, where we're probably about 28 feet from the wetland at its closest point. But however, again, that's where we've taken the edge of pavement, which right now is 10 feet from the wetland. It's now going to be about 28 feet or more from that wetland edge. So in this area where this pavement is being removed, we have a stormwater, essentially a rain garden or a bioretention basin proposed in that area. So right now, there are no stormwater controls out there whatsoever. All of the stormwater runoff sheet flows either into the wetland or out towards Old Westford Road or towards the pond. We will be providing a new stormwater management system that includes, as I just mentioned, this bioretention basin along the side of the driveway here. That's picking up the majority of the runoff from the pavement, the driveway, and some of the front parking area. There is also an underground pipe storage system behind the building. This is picking up the runoff from the roof drains of the new building and a small area of pavement between the proposed new building and the garage that again is remaining out here. That's providing detention with an outlet towards the pond for overflow. And finally, a third, final, smaller system out front that's collecting some of the runoff from these driveways, detaining it before it then goes out towards the drainage system in Old Westford Road, where it'll connect to an existing storm drain system. So as far as the stormwater management standards, we are reducing peak flows for all storms. As you may have seen or heard in the report or other sources, there was some soil testing done out here, and there was detection of PFAS levels that exceed reportable concentrations, meaning once those levels are found, there's an obligation to report those findings to DEP. That has been done. We have an environmental firm on board that's doing additional testing, and they're going to determine, what further work needs to be done or not done, depending on the outcome of those investigations. Because of the uncertainty of that particular item, we are not proposing to infiltrate out here. All of the stormwater will be treated, will be detained and controlled, but we're not doing it through infiltration, just to, again, be conservative in our approach if in fact the PFAS levels do cause additional concerns. So again, despite not having the infiltration, again, we are providing treatment through this bioretention system. We have water quality units in front of the underground systems. So we are providing protection and meeting stormwater standards. This is a mix of redevelopment and new development. But again, I think in our report that was included with a notice of intent, we've demonstrated that we do meet the stormwater management standards. The other thing that is happening along with this redevelopment of this site is that there now will be a stormwater management plan, operation and maintenance plan in place moving forward. Again, something that is not present out there today. So that, combined with the removement of significant areas of pavement within your buffer zones, providing stormwater management where none is today, operation and maintenance plan, there's been significant improvements over what's happening out there today. I know you have a long agenda, Mr. Chairman, so I'm going to conclude my presentation and be happy to answer any questions you and the commission may have.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice job. David, do you want to comment first? You've been out there and looked at the site. See what you're...
So did you say there's going to be a net decrease in impervious surface?
There is not a net decrease. There is actually a slight increase of about 7,000 square feet,
Okay.
but there is a decrease in peak rates of runoff for all storms.
But it does meet the current stormwater standards in any case.
It does.
So, next question is, so are there any trees that are proposed to be taken down?
No.
Didn't think so, but just wanted to verify that. Then the only other question I have is, so who's going to be responsible for doing the maintenance on the stormwater BMPs? Is that going to be the town, or is it
It's
gonna
going
be a
to have to be the
third party?
town, I'm sure, through the Public Works Department or...
Okay. Okay. That's all I have. I think it'd be a standard order of conditions.
Okay. Peter, start us off.
There's a lot of good things in your design, so congrats to you and others that I know contributed. Nice landscape plan. There's a minor detail on the landscape plan that I even hesitate to mention, but at one point it says you'll put barriers around the trees, I don't know, 8 feet, 10 feet away at the drip line.
Yep.
And another place it says we're gonna try to minimize construction damage. So those sound, just take a look at that, because there actually are some trees at Roberts Field that we believe are in trouble because previous construction activity went over the roots, and turns out trees are really sensitive. So just a minor point. And one quick question, I assume you're working with Health Department on the PFAS thing and the planning boards who issues the aquifer protection permit?
Yes, we're actually appearing before the Board of Health next Tuesday because of the aquifer protection, the groundwater protection zone issue. And as you heard at the beginning of the meeting, we're currently before the planning board, going back on the 10th. We did, not to go too far astray here, but we did get a number of comments out of the planning board process from the various departments. They were all minor. We're actually submitting back to planning tomorrow revised plans, but it really consists of additional notes, some minor notations to the plans, some tweaks to the details, no design changes. And as you heard, we're hopeful to get planning board, conditional approval on the 10th of December.
Thank you. Good.
Okay, Ally?
Do you know if this is gonna be, this is probably more a question for the chief, but a drive around so the truck would come around and pull through, or are they backing in, or what's the deal with that?
So the original plan, that's a very good question. The original design, I think I may have shared it with some, was to keep, like Engine 2, keep the original apparatus bay and then add a new building. Early on in the process, the design team did not think that was a good idea. They looked at the apparatus bay, serious concerns about the structure itself, so as a result, the building got a little bigger. As a result of that, what we call a pinch point. It makes it a little difficult for the truck. It's not that the truck can't do it, but it's not a clean, what we call turn-on radius.
Mm-hmm.
So the trucks, for the most part, will be backing in off of Old Westford Road. But do we have the ability to, in a pinch, to get around the back? Yes.
Good,
It'll
thank you.
just take us a few turns, and also depending who's driving, so
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And then my other question was, it looks like on the plans, the roof drain is running back to that back piping you had talked about. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Yep, okay. All right, no, I like it. I think it's kind of overdue, and, the fire department deserves some nice new stuff, so.
All right. Chris?
From an environmental perspective, I think this plan looks good. I think we're making some favorable changes as far as minimizing potential impacts on the wetlands or the pond. And I think I like the improvements with stormwater management as well, too. So I see the upside potential from an environmental perspective. So, yeah, based on what I've seen so far, I'd certainly be in favor of this project.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Gibbs?
Just one quick thing. Is there floor drains inside the new structure?
There will be, yes, and those go to an oil water separator,
Is there containment there?
yes.
Okay. I didn't see it on the plan. I just,
So on the utility plan, I don't have it on the board here, but the utility plan sheet, out the back side of the building, the floor drains connect to an oil water separator here that contains the sediment and the oils before it then connects to the sanitary sewer system.
and that's part of the maintenance plan?
There will be, yes.
Okay. All right. That's all I got now.
I think it's a great plan, great plan. Are you asking for any waivers? Do you need a waiver from us for anything?
We do not.
No.
Well, they're just the minor one of the 30-foot
Okay, yeah.
impervious surface setback.
Technically, that's 30 foot, but
Yeah, trivial.
Okay, I mean, it's not a problem to me,
No,
but
it's
I'm
not.
just curious. As far as the PFAS, how many parts per trillion did you find there?
You're getting way out of my league here.
Does the chief know? Just curious, I'm just curious.
I mean, I have a document from the Conoco engineers. I'd be happy to share it. It's got a lot of data, so I'm not sure exactly what number. They have the analytical results, but if I can approach, I will share this.
Sure.
Maybe you can.
Christine might know.
does Christine know? She's,
Can you decipher it?
Sure, so let's see, so it looks like that this is, I guess the only thing is this CM, there were two different detections. Yeah, so we took two different detections, one was just under 35 parts per trillion, another one was 46 parts per trillion. And the reportable right now is above 20 parts per trillion.
Right, yeah, so,
So,
It's not-
I mean,
it's not crazy.
it's not 100 or 1,000.
Okay.
and then, as you know, the thresholds are changing, because
Yeah.
years ago it was closer to 70, so.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you want this information at all, or.
No, I'm just curious. It's fine. I'm fine. The plan is great. I just had another question on the fire foam that you use on if you're fighting a fire, is it PFAS in that stuff still, or do you use stuff that doesn't
So,
have PFAS?
yes, there used to be what we call the legacy foam.
Right.
Chelmsford had that. We actually stored it down at Engine 5. Many years ago, actually, under the previous chief, we got rid of it. The state had a turnback program. Chelmsford took advantage of that, so you turn in the legacy foam. We got a greener foam, but even that, we got rid of many years ago when we built the fire headquarters.
Yep.
So presently, no foam.
Okay, because I was just curious if there was, how you treat that on the site as far as when you wash out
Right.
the hoses, but that's not even an issue anymore.
Right, so if we have foam, it's more a mutual aid application through Westford and others that we would call if we need it, so,
So it's not an issue as far as containing the water that,
no.
okay, so
No.
that was my only question. But no, I think it's a great plan. I'm glad you guys are doing this, you need it.
Thank you.
Well, the vehicles are washed inside the building, right?
That
The vehicles are washed inside the building,
vehicles washed inside and outside.
inside.
So if you ever go by in the station, sometimes they're washed outside, because if you got a ladder truck, that has to be washed outside. So you'll see them washed inside and also outside, it's both.
I'm good. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I think it's a great plan. Do we have enough room for snow storage and stuff? I mean, do we have a plan for snow?
Yeah, on the site plan, which in the full plan set is the fifth sheet.
Fifth sheet?
I believe we've designated areas for snow storage. Yeah, I do see some. Obviously, we're not putting it in the bioretention area. It's
Right,
really
that's what
going-
I was looking
Yeah,
at.
it's really going out back here, where we can get it to the sides over here. It's somewhat limited, but there is space.
There is space.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think it's a great plan, well-deserved.
Can you show that in the plan? Snow storage?
Yeah, on sheet C200, it's the fifth sheet in the
C200, Mike.
plan set. We have, if you look at that sheet
Yeah.
back here, we say snow storage.
I didn't catch it.
We say snow storage here,
Yeah,
up in here.
Okay.
All set, John?
yeah.
All right,
Nope.
good.
I didn't catch
My-
that snow.
My only question is the drilling that's going on over at Roberts Field related to this project?
Yes, that's,
I'm just curious,
yeah,
because
they're
I've
going to
seen
be
it.
installing geothermal wells for the heating and cooling of this building.
Okay,
So those are test wells that are being drilled right now.
okay, all right. I saw the equipment there, and I was kind of
Yeah.
like, what's going on here?
So the geothermal
Okay,
field
yeah.
will be in Roberts Field. When they're done and installed, you won't see anything at the surface. There's nothing at the surface.
Okay.
Everything's underground.
Okay, okay, great, thank you. All right, any further questions, any follow-up? Okay, this is a public hearing. We can hear any questions or comments from the public. If anybody wants to step up to the microphone. I'm not seeing any movement, so if we don't have any more questions, if we're satisfied, I think we can take a motion.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing open, right, David?
No?
So I move then to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion from Chris, second from Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we approve the
So I
closing
make,
of the
I
hearing.
make a motion then for a waiver of the 30-foot setback. I understood that that was an issue, so I make a motion to waive that requirement.
Okay, motion from Chris,
Second.
second from Bill. All in favor?
Aye. Good, and then-
Speak up.
Aye. Okay,
And then
that motion passed.
now I make a motion that we issue our standard order of conditions to approve the project from a conservation perspective.
Any special conditions beyond the waiver?
No, I
don't think
really
so.
don't think so.
Okay. Motion from Chris, second.
Second.
Second from Ally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It approves, so we're all good. David, you'll have the order conditions in a few days. The applicant can connect with David to get that, and I think it looks like a great project, and looking forward to see it move forward.
All right, well, thank you very much, and everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
everybody. I appreciate your support. Thank you. It means a lot to us. It
Thanks.
means a lot to my members. Happy
Yep.
Thanksgiving.
It's a nice project. It's good for the town. Okay, we'll keep things moving here. Next up is a request for determination of applicability for the town of Chelmsford at 87 Main Street, and we have Courtney Thompson here to represent the town, and I think she's on the Zoom.
She is.
Good evening, Courtney.
Oh, we have a legal.
Yeah, that's right, we have a legal notice. Go ahead, Chris.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation will conduct a public hearing here in Room 204 at the Chelmsford Town Offices on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, to consider the request for determination of applicability filed by the town of Chelmsford on behalf of property owner Awilda Hirozari for proposed work in intermittent stream bank at 87 Main Street, further identified as Assessors Map 23/Block 92 Lot 15. The project entails removal and disposal of accumulated non-native sediment/material within CU-14 at the 48-inch concrete culvert running beneath Main Street and approximately 30 linear feet of intermittent stream segment at 87 Main Street to improve and restore the flow channel of the stream to near original conditions. Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Chris, appreciate it. Okay, Courtney, you want to just a quick presentation of the project?
Yes, definitely. I'm Courtney Thompson, the stormwater engineer for the town of Chelmsford. I'm sorry my camera's not cooperating, but this RDA is for routine culvert and stream maintenance near 87 and 90 Main Street. The intermittent stream actually runs towards 90 Main Street. I filed that. I flipped it around on my filing initially, but I did send David an updated one earlier this week. But work is being done on both sides of the culvert. The work's going to consist of utilizing our Vector truck to remove non-native accumulated sediment and material from beneath the culvert and along approximately 30 linear feet of intermittent stream in order to return the flow channel to near original conditions. The Vector truck will remain on the road for the entirety of the project, and we intend to complete the work in dry conditions. So it's pretty standard work that we're doing. We're just trying to remove, there's 3 outfalls that discharge there, so we're just trying to get rid of some of that silt and other non-native material that's been deposited there over the years. And I'm happy to answer any other questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. David, do you have a comment? Did you get out there?
Yes, I did do a site visit with Courtney. Courtney, there was just one question I forgot to ask you. So does the town hold a drainage easement here?
No. So if we had an easement, I think that then it would truly fall under routine work, and we could just, we wouldn't really even need an RDA. We could just work with you to get the work done. There's not technically an easement, but there is 3 outfalls that discharge to this area, and it's just very clearly mostly just accumulated silt from the road that's kind of bogged down the area.
So it's a relatively small amount of silt. I think it's really too small to require a notice of intent filing. I think a negative determination just with a condition to do it in dry conditions, which Courtney's proposing they're going to do anyway. I think that's fine.
Okay. Peter?
No comments.
Okay. Ally?
No, thank you.
Chris?
Looks good.
No. I'm good.
I'm good.
You're clean. It looks good. I'm gonna take a motion to close the, public hearing, sorry, public hearing. So public hearing, do you have any comment from the public?
Okay.
Nobody moving?
Move to close the hearing then.
Okay, motion from Chris to close the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I move that we approve the project with a -3 determination with a condition that the work be done during dry conditions.
That would actually be a -2 and a -3. Well, -2 and -3, because it's actually work within the stream, but it's not going to alter the stream itself.
Okay, so -2 and a -3
Yes.
determination then, with the
Okay.
condition the work be done during dry conditions.
Vivian, you caught all that? You all right? Motion from Chris,
Second.
second from Ally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, Courtney, thank you very much. You're all
Thank you.
approved. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Very good. Next one up. Okay, so now we're gonna inject the solar field. Apologize to the future applicants in the queue, but we're gonna give this person, the person on this call, so this is the, get down to my right place here. This is the notice of intent, Progeneration Energy. This is continued from October 28th, 152 Stedman Street. Mr. Haskell is joining us, if I'm not mistaken, from Scotland.
Where it's 2 a.m., yes.
That is correct.
Yeah,
So that was the
And
reason
I
for the
sincerely
request.
appreciate your, the commission's moving me up in the agenda here, so.
All right. Well, I hope things are well in Scotland, and why don't you, well, David, do we want to preset where we are? So we had a presentation at our last meeting, but we're going to have that presentation again, I think, at this point. The abutters have all been notified properly, and all
Yes,
that's
yes.
clear?
So are there any abutters here for this one? Doesn't look like it. So I don't think we need to do the presentation all over again.
That's fine with me.
But Bruce, could you just tell us what's transpired? I know since then, there's been some back and forth between you and, indirectly between you and the commission's peer reviewer, who's also here. James, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. James Pearson with Weston and Sampson.
Yes, so Weston and Sampson has been doing the review, has been responding to the comments or the responses from the applicant. So there has been some back and forth. So Bruce, maybe you could just recount that, and where things stand now.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I think that the back and forth has really been down, it was down to one final question regarding a swale that runs along the southwest corner of the site, and where the closure turf, the new capping material comes on and goes into the grass, and making sure that the existing cap wasn't eroded. We had come up with a detail for that had added some stone down at the bottom of the slope to slow the flow off of there. I think that's the detail in the bottom right corner. I think that detail was conceptual, was accepted by Weston and Sampson. They did suggest adding a layer of sand, so using some of the existing sand that we strip off of there at the bottom to sort of buffer the cap, which is the dark black line sort of running across there. From the stone, that's not a huge change, difference to us, as far as protecting the cap, out there. And further protection of the cap and permanent cap, particularly if the closure turf is left as a long-term, decades away solution to capping the landfill out there. So I believe that is the final of the comments on the stormwater, as well as the comments that were done related to the site plan review process, sort of in parallel.
So do you concur with that assessment, James?
I think what Bruce has described is correct. A set of revised plans was sent to us earlier today, and we responded very quickly, reviewing that detail. We were happy with it, and as Mr. Haskell stated, really the only thing we would suggest is that they adjust the detail slightly to just show a little bit of sand between where they're showing that riprap stone and that liner, just to sort of help protect the liner when the stone's being placed. Aside from that, we're pretty happy with it. And I guess the only other thing I would add is that I think in our last comment letter, we had suggested a potential condition for the board's consideration. The applicant had previously responded that the construction contractor will be required to phase the topsoil removal. And so we just kind of suggested, the commission could deliberate and decide whether it wants to include any limits on the amount of exposed ground and the duration of exposure in its conditions. It's entirely up to the commission if the commission wishes to do that. And that's, aside from that, everything was all set.
Could I suggest that just a change there? I don't remember seeing that condition, but I'm not against that, but I think just a change to that possible condition to be that we'll submit have the contractor submit a sequencing plan to the commission, and then you can see what they're going to do, because I can't say today they're only going to do X hundred square feet a day, what they're going to do and how they're going to go about it. But I think the concept, we incorporate notes to that effect, and we certainly can have the contractor give us a sketch plan kind of thing of what his sequencing is going to be. And obviously a lot of that's going to be driven by weather and time of year. I think so.
That sounds entirely fair, and I wouldn't have any objection to that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we've had the back and forth between the applicant and the peer review, and we've satisfied the questions that the peer reviewer had. And David, is there anything else more that you want to add? I think we...
I don't have anything to add with regard to, the proposed plans or any possible revisions. I would like the hearing to be kept open while I think about, special conditions in addition to what Weston and Sampson has already proposed. I'd like to see Bruce's proposed changes to that recommended condition in writing. But certainly another condition that I'm thinking of is I think there should be a third-party site compliance monitor. I think it makes sense for Weston and Sampson to do that if they're interested and available, but I have not spoken about that to them at all. I also think that it makes sense to try to coordinate with the planning board on that. because obviously we want the whole site to be monitored, not just what's in
Yeah.
the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction. I would, ideally, I'd like to speak with Weston and Sampson about what would be an appropriate scope for that monitoring, and, ideally to get a draft of a proposal, because this would be at the applicant's expense.
Okay.
So I think the hearing should be kept open pending,
Okay.
that.
Do I hear a comment from is it the applicant?
Yeah, I could comment on, not necessarily on the hearing being kept open, if we have any other comments or questions, but the requirements for in the solid, this is all done under the solid waste regulations, to have a third party, is that the applicant already has to hire an independent third-party engineer to oversee the work that goes on out there, in accordance with the solid waste regulations, which by reference include all the local approvals and permits. It does seem, I've done a lot of these kinds of projects, and I've never had a third-party engineer overseeing the third-party engineer, if you will. So I do think that that's is unusual from my point of view out there. Again, I haven't done one of these projects in the town of Chelmsford, but I would say that that's unusual, because really the third-party engineer who's overseeing it is ultimately going to have to certify to Mass DEP in a very detailed document that whatever's on these plans was implemented in accordance with these plans and specifications and other documents out there, which are the same plans that are, being reviewed by the commission.
Are you familiar with the regulations that Bruce is citing, James?
That sounds familiar, but my colleague Nick Ames is a little bit more well-versed in it than I am.
So
I could.
Okay.
I could certainly provide you, Dave, assuming that the applicant agrees to extend the hearing. I certainly can provide you with the reference to the third-party engineer, and hopefully by the next hearing of the commission, we would have a post-closure use permit from DEP, which will cite those. I can give you examples from other permits, but they'll cite those specific things. What I've had other commissions do for projects like this is to require, and the one I'm thinking of right now was a project in Haverhill permitted over the last couple of years, where there was an environmental monitor designated for the project that had responsibilities related to reporting to the commission and the site and the planning board, or whatever town boards, Board of Health, whatever other boards would have to be provided that, and that person acts through and with the third-party engineer out there that is required by DEP. I could certainly provide you there's references in the regulations to citations for that out there.
Because the commission does have the legal authority to hire its own consultant at the applicant's expense. So I guess a couple of questions. I guess the commission could hire the third party monitor that you're referring to, as long as that reviewer is qualified. Maybe there's this other approach that you've described, Bruce. But again, I would like to see that in writing. So again, I think I think the hearing should be kept open. That's the commission's call, at least under the local bylaw.
Okay. No, I'm just more responding to the actual specific, specific request about the third party, oversight.
So I think what I think I'm hearing, what I'm understanding is that it's possible that the already existing or planned to be existing third-party overseer of the project could incorporate what we're looking for into what they're doing. And given that they're third-party, if they're qualified to do that. And I
Well-
think the question becomes, can we get confirmation in the meantime that that's the way it will work?
Well, I thought I just heard from Bruce, maybe I misunderstood. Bruce, I thought you said that, some of the commissions do hire their own person to work with the person that the applicant
No.
hires. No?
No, what I'm saying is that what they've required is that there be a designated person hired by, again, hired by the applicant, but working for the applicant, not in the not in, the current arrangement that was with Weston Sampson for the review of the documents out there. But there's a designated person who's responsible, for that. And the project I referenced has some significant endangered species aspects to it and things like that. So there's a portion of the environmental monitor is responsible for, take permits and things like that out there. So it's different than this necessarily, but it's in the same realm out there.
Well,
So,
But it's not the arrangement that we have now, sort of a similar arrangement for how the funds get
so in
transferred.
the interest of moving forward, let's go around the commission, get some questions, and then we'll see where we stand and then see if we can come up with a way forward, okay? John, you want to start?
Yeah, I just really have one question. This battery storage, what is that? I know there's something going over in Tewksbury. They're all upset about batteries and this and that. Is that the same thing?
I honestly don't know anything about the Tewksbury battery storage out there. This is a relatively small, battery storage setup out there. I don't really know anything about what's going on in Tewksbury.
Well, it's all over the news.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm away. I'll use that
Okay,
excuse.
well, it's been over
out
the
there.
news for months now. The
Yeah, if
signs
I can-
everywhere.
I will Google it once I get off. I'm not familiar with it.
I think that's a much larger storage facility in
Yeah,
Tewksbury
then this one.
than this one.
There are some acres and acres and acres of proposed battery storage facilities
Okay,
around.
all
So,
right.
yeah, they're much bigger.
Yeah, okay.
And obviously with that comes much more concerns.
John, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, just, that was primarily thinking of that because of what's going on over
Yeah,
in
okay,
Tewksbury.
all right.
No, yes, sir.
Bill?
Yeah, I want to go back to the the base with the cover. You mentioned some sand and stone at the base.
Yes, this detail that's on the screen, yeah.
Yes. Does it specify how much sand, how much stone? What were you looking for? You said a little bit of sand.
Oh, so
What
I
is
think
that?
it was, and James, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 to 6 inches of sand across the bottom of the area, where it says extrusion weld, new HDP microspike liner on the detail. Just above that black line was going to be 4 to 6 inches of, sort of sand that's already out there that's being stripped off of this, just to be put back in that area.
Okay, I just wanted to know. I just wanted
That's
some
correct.
Specifics on that. So, okay, no, that's the only question I have right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mark?
I have nothing now.
Nothing?
No questions, Carl.
Chris, no questions? Ally, all set? Peter?
Yeah, just quickly, question for James. There's over 100 solar farms on closed landfills in Massachusetts, and I know your firm was involved in a lot of them. Can you comment just super quick? This is a typical design and installation on a landfill, yes?
I would say this is fairly typical. I think the one thing that we see here that's maybe a little bit different than ones we've been involved in is the installation of this particular cover system. We don't see it often, but that's not to say there's anything wrong with it. But yes, we do see lots of these installed, and this is not really that unusual.
Thank you. And then my other comment is, it is very common to hire a third-party independent monitor for big environmental projects, including landfills. The key is, if we go down that route, that environmental monitor, in bigger projects anyway, do not report to the contractor. They report to either a DEP-type oversight entity or a local commission. So we can talk about that later. And then I just want to make a comment about the battery. John, you asked a good question. Our country is building, the world is building storage batteries everywhere. And people that don't want to see trees cut down, or they, are afraid of fires, have made it a big deal. The news picks it up. And if you look up the statistics, yeah, sure, sometimes they catch on fire, just as the asphalt plant down the street does, just like, this building might. So there certainly is a risk. But in my review of this over the last couple of years, that risk, I think, is overblown and being used by people as a reason to stop a project because they don't want it. So I like the idea that it's a small size battery, I believe, and I don't consider that a big deal, and it certainly I don't think is in our regs in any fashion. But it's a good thing for the electric grid and good thing for these projects that don't generate power at night. And the battery is used to make the project better, to feed our homes and businesses.
Smooth it out.
Just want to share that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So now we're back to, well, let me just see, are there any questions or comments from the audience, from the public? It's a public hearing, so, but not seeing anyone. Okay. So now we're back to the question about this. So might I suggest that we keep the hearing open to the next meeting, and in the meantime, try to work through a proposal for how this would work for monitoring?
I'm not sure we need monitoring. I mean, this is my off the cuff, but I do think we need to give our agent a chance to come up with some special conditions. Maybe one of them is monitoring.
Well, I definitely, I mean, certainly, I don't think we should require the applicant to pay for, a duplicate, monitoring. But I think at the very least, at the bare minimum, I think someone needs to be out there on a regular basis to inspect the erosion control. I don't have the time to go out there even once a week. I don't know. I don't know if DPW is going to be doing it. Even if they are, they're looking at different things.
We don't think so right now.
We don't think so. So I think at the very least that needs to be a scope. But again, that's something I'd like to work with Weston and Sampson on to come up with an appropriate scope. Again, not to duplicate effort, not to make the applicant pay for the same thing twice, but just to make sure that someone's looking at it that works for the commission.
Okay. And to Peter's point, works for the commission or
Yes.
in our interest, yeah.
Yes.
I agree with David, and I think if you drive around that landfill and realize how steep the side slope is,
Yeah.
and then you've got receiving water below it, you realize that is an issue
Yeah.
for everyone, not just us. But
So we should continue this to the next meeting.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is I think this should be a fairly simple. You may have some back and forth on this, David, with Weston Sampson
Yes,
and with Bruce.
that's what I'm planning.
And perhaps coordinating it, as you said, with the planning board, so that we want to reduce the burden on the applicant as much as possible, but still meet what we're trying to get.
Yes.
Does that sound reasonable?
I don't want to reiterate, I'll take your time, but there is a lot more oversight of this required than if this was just a building project, in town or something like that was,
Okay.
going on there, and reporting and things that I think will serve your purposes. It has served your, similar commission's purposes as well.
So I
And I'll take, and again, with the continuance,
Yep.
again, we'll request it formally, but that, I think we can give you a good sense of what's, a sense of what that is.
Yeah, I
out
think,
there.
Bruce, if you share what that looks like with David,
Yes.
Yes, certainly.
I think that's good. So I'll take a motion to continue.
I move that we continue this hearing until our next meeting, which is scheduled right now for December 9th, 2025.
Second.
Motion from Chris, second from Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Great.
Bruce,
Thank
thanks
you
very
very
much.
much for taking me early here.
Thank
So,
you.
great, thank you very
James.
much. Good night.
Also, Weston Sampson, appreciate the work. Okay. Thank you, David, on that. Okay, now we're at the next one, notice of intent. Gail Smaldone, 128 Warren Avenue. Maureen Herold from Norse Environmental Services is here representing the applicant, and we do have a notice to be read by the esteemed Mr. Garahan.
Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a
Oh,
public
great,
hearing
thanks.
here at the Chelmsford Town offices at 50 Burlington Road on Tuesday, November 25,
I
2025.
like this. Oh,
To consider the notice of intent filed by property owner Gail Small Dome for proposed work in 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands at 128 Warren Avenue, further identified as Assessors Map 85/Block 324/Lot 85. The project entails construction of a 271 square foot attached garage with associated driveway widening and roof runoff management, installation of utilities, grading, landscaping, construction of a deck, removal of existing pavement and stairway, and relocation of 2 existing sheds. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, Maureen. Could you tell us about this project?
Sure. Good evening, Maureen Harold from North Environmental Services. So the plans I handed out to you, they're the same plans that were submitted as part of the notice of intent filing. They're just colored so you can hopefully see things a little bit easier.
You appreciate that.
Sure. So we filed a notice of intent to remove some pavement steps, relocate 2 sheds, construct a garage deck, extend the driveway. We are providing rooftop infiltration for that impervious area, grading, and associated utilities within the 100-foot buffer zone. The BVW on this plan is colored in green. It's actually located off the property. It's off-site. We show the 25-foot no disturb in a purple, the 30-foot no impervious in a pink, the 50-foot no build in a purple, and the 100-foot buffer zone is colored as yellow. We show the erosion controls highlighted as orange on the plan. The good news is this is a buffer zone project. We meet all of the setbacks that the commission likes to see. We maintain the 25-foot no disturb, the 30-foot no impervious, and the garage is proposed greater than 50 feet from the resource area. The lot is fairly flat. Really minimal grading will need to be performed. That concludes my presentation, trying to keep it short and sweet and open it up to the commission with any questions.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. David, you've been out to the site, and do you have any comments, or it looks pretty straightforward?
Yeah, I think so. I just was curious, Maureen. I don't know if you're able to answer this question. Maybe Gail can. That the dimensions, the dimension of the garage closest to the road is 16 feet, where the other side of the garage is 16 feet, 5.5 inches. So just wondering if you knew why that was, not a perfect rectangle. It was slightly different.
I'm sure there's a good reason for it, and I just don't know that reason.
Wall thickness.
Sure, Gail, come on up.
It's the wall thickness in the rear of the building.
Okay.
It has to be, because you're butting into the house. You're butting into the house on the front, but you're lining up the outside, the inside with the, it's fine, don't worry about it. I can't explain.
You're
Thank
100%
you.
right, Mark.
What he
It's the
said.
wall thickness.
Okay.
So I don't have any concerns. I think it's gonna be a standard order of conditions.
Okay. Peter,
I'm good, thank you.
Ally,
All set, thank you.
Chris,
I think.
Mark?
Is this a 2-story garage? No. 1 story, okay. No, it's fine.
It's fine. I appreciate the coloring. It makes a big difference, believe it or not.
I believe it.
John?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
This is a public hearing. Are there anybody from the public that'd like to speak up and comment or question or whatever? Nobody moving? Okay. I'll
Move
take a
to
motion
close the hearing. Yeah.
Motion from Chris,
Second?
second from Ally. All in favor to close the hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I move, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a standard order of conditions.
Motion from Chris with standard order of conditions.
Second?
Second from Ally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Great, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for the wait.
Gail, your brother was a commissioner, wasn't he?
He was Commissioner of the EPA.
Wasn't he here too?
John was here.
He was here for 8 years. He
Yeah,
asked me
yeah.
to say hi to Chris, but I didn't want to do it
Yeah,
ahead of time.
I remember John well.
He didn't say hi to me, I was here too. Sorry. That's all right.
It was further back in time. It was
I'll
further
let you
back
know
in
when this is
time.
ready
Bill.
to pick up.
All right, thank you. Good luck on the project.
It was back in the 80s.
All right, let's keep moving here. We are moving right along. Notice of intent, Joanne Gugliotti, 30 Bowl Road Extension, Lowell, Chelmsford Assessors Map 41, Block 140, Lot 1. Patrick Myers, MG Architects LLC is here representing the applicant, and we have another notice to be read.
Another legal notice pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187. The Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public hearing here in Room 204, the Chelmsford Town Offices, on Tuesday, November 25th, to consider the notice of intent filed by property owner Joanne Gugliotti for proposed work in a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands at 35 Bowl Road Extension, Lowell, Mass., further identified as Chelmsford Assessors Map 41/Block 140/Lot 1. The project entails construction of 418 square foot addition to an existing single-family dwelling with associated grading and landscaping. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, good evening. Could you give us your name and tell us about the project?
Hi, my name is Patrick Myers. I'm from MG Architects, representing Joanne Gugliotti, resident of 35 Bowl Road. I'm accompanied by Gary Garfield of Garfield Environmental Management. So this project is for a resident who she's been living in the home for about 25 years or so. You'll see on the plans that there is a handicap ramp from the driveway up into the first level of the home. She was diagnosed with ALS, and her motor skills are unfortunately deteriorating. And right now she has one of the acorn lifts to assist her to get her upstairs to her bedroom. Unfortunately, they're seeing that that's just becoming more and more challenging for her every day. So they reached out to us to come up with a solution to allow her to live in her home for as long as she can. So what we came up with was this 22 by 19 foot addition. It's a single level ADA compliant primary suite, so it has a bedroom, bathroom, and a closet. We would be also, it would have a track system to help her maneuver about the suite. So our main focus was to allow her to stay in her home and make it as accessible as possible for her. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is a interesting project because this is a house that, actually, there's two of them in a row here in our agenda. This one and the next one are both Lowell, Chelmsford, straddling the line. So if I remember right, this one is in, the house is in Chelmsford, but some of the properties in Lowell, I think.
A majority of the house is in Lowell.
Lowell.
And then you can see the town line, of course, goes right through our addition.
Yeah, okay.
Proposed addition.
But the only access is from Chelmsford. I mean, the only access driving to the house is through Chelmsford.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, okay. It's an unusual, it's straddling here. David, you didn't get out to the house? To this one?
No, I have not. Because in all honesty, I only just realized today that the access is entirely from Chelmsford, the physical access.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we'll talk about it. I think I would like to see this hearing kept open as well. And if it is, I'll plan to get out there and take a look at it. So my main question at this point, so I think this is, so the addition goes into the 25-foot no disturb. I think this is a legitimate hardship case. I don't, so I think that's something the commission can and should approve. But the pervious walkway going in back, which is going further into the 25-foot no disturb, and It's actually coming quite close to the wetlands. Is there a great need for that walkway back there? It looks like it's to get to the deck and back.
Yeah, so currently there's a walkway. You can see a dash line there showing the where the previous one was.
Oh, okay.
And so that's just asphalt paved right now, so, you know, we'd like to maintain access because as part of this, we're gonna have to pour a foundation. And so we were going to keep the lower area for storage and treat it almost like a shed underneath. So just wanted to be able to maintain access for them around back to the deck and to the storage space below.
So the existing walkway is asphalt?
Correct.
So that's gonna be removed, then the location of, even though the location of the proposed new walkway is gonna shift a little bit closer to the wetlands, yeah, a little bit closer, not much, but a little, it's gonna be pervious.
Yes, correct.
So what's it gonna consist of?
I haven't discussed it completely yet, but we were anticipating some sort of like crushed stone or, yeah, that would be.
Okay.
Kind of hard pack.
Yes.
Those were my main questions. And I would, so I gather the Lowell Commission hasn't heard this yet?
No, so I should have led with that as well. So we have filed with Lowell, Chelmsford, and the state, and we're scheduled on the December 10th agenda with Lowell's Conservation Commission.
Which is the day after the commission is meeting for the last time this year. So I think the hearing should be kept open, you know, just out of courtesy to the Lowell Commission, see if the Lowell Commission has any concerns that maybe haven't been addressed here, that they would like to see addressed. And I don't know, I don't think a file number has been assigned yet from DEP for this one?
I don't believe so. I filed with them later last week.
Okay, so I think that's really another reason it really should be kept open. On the other hand, don't want to unnecessarily delay this. Probably the applicant would like to get it done as.
We're doing everything we can to expedite the process.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, I kind of feel like if our next meeting is before the Lowell Commission, then maybe we want to communicate. Can you contact their agent and see if there's any thoughts from them, if they're going to dig into this? Because I'm okay with us continuing this, and we haven't gone around with questions yet, and we will in a moment, but I'm also thinking that, you know, from the applicant's point of view, nothing's going to happen until December 10th, and we meet on the 9th. I would rather not be waiting for after December 10th, because now you're into January. So I'd like for us to probably think about continuing to the 9th, but not beyond that. That's kind of where I'm thinking. So, Peter, would you like to ask some questions, or do you have any questions?
Well, just an observation you've all noticed. Most of the houses, all of the houses in the current 100-foot buffer, this is one of those legacy kind of buildings, so I guess that affects my thinking, and I don't really have any comments.
When was the house built?
I believe early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So if the house were in Chelmsford, it would not be exempted from the bylaw, which
would be 1990 though.
It would have to be built prior to 1982.
Oh, 82, okay.
But I don't, you know, since the house isn't in Chelmsford, that I don't know how you deal with that. But I think there's a legitimate hardship case here, which justifies it.
Yeah, so I'm fine with it.
Okay. Ally?
Also, thank you.
Chris?
No, just my sympathies to your client, you know, having a diagnosis of ALS and the challenges that she and her family have to face. So my sympathies to your client, and certainly I'll do whatever I can to help her get through this, our small way we can do on this commission.
Thank you very much appreciated.
I'm also in favor of, you know, passing this. I'd just like to see the back walk of something, crushed stone, but not stone dust, because that's just like concrete.
Okay.
But, no, I don't want to hold this up.
I agree with everybody. I don't want to hold it up either, and I think keeping it open till December 9th is fine, won't hurt them, give you a chance to talk to Lowell. And then at that point, I feel like we could vote for it.
Yep.
Regardless of what
Yep.
happens.
I agree with everybody else.
Okay. Okay, so this is a public hearing. Are there any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, I'll take a vote, motion to continue to,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue to our next meeting, December 9th.
all right, motion from Chris.
Second.
From Ally, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good project, and hopefully we'll get this wrapped up next time.
Awesome, thank you, guys.
Yep.
So if you could please just email me the name and contact information of the Lowell, my Lowell counterpart.
Yeah, I'll connect you guys.
Or even, yeah, do an intro email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
All right,
Okay,
That'd be
thank you.
great.
Have a great
Thank
Thanksgiving,
you.
everyone.
You too. Okay, where are we going next? All right, we are now request for determination of applicability, the Courtyard Condominium Trust, 360 Old Littleton Road, Hilda Karpowicz, High Point Engineering representing the applicant, and Chris, do we have a
We do, we have
notice?
another notice, and if my voice gives out, someone else may have to
Sure.
step up, but pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts, I can't remember so many legal notices in one meeting, honestly, long time. But anyway, pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public hearing here at Room 204 at the Chelmsford Town Offices on Tuesday, November 25, to consider the request of determination of applicability filed by property owner Courtyard Condominium Trust for proposed work in riverfront area, Beaver Brook, and a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and inland bank at 360 Littleton Road, further identified as Assessors Map 107/Block 405, Lot 1. The project entails repaving all asphalt parking areas and drive aisles, associated regrading, restriping, and replacement of the Cape Cod berm, adjustments to accessible parking signage, installation of 2 new catch basins, resetting frame, grates, and rims of existing drainage and utility appurtenances. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening. Can you talk to us about your project?
I'm Hildy Karpowicz. I'm from High Point Engineering, and as he mentioned, it was for the Courtyard condominiums. If you're going towards Westford, right after the Elks, it's on the left, if anybody's familiar with that. So most of this project, it is within the buffer, it is within the riverfront, and there are borderlines. It's all associated with Beaver Brook, and there is a floodplain associated with that, but that is all well below the elevation of the project. So we're not working in that one at all, so I won't elaborate on that anymore. Could we go to the site prep plan?
I'm sorry, Hildy?
Could we go to the site prep plan?
Which sheet is that? Which,
I think it's the third.
third? Okay.
Might be the fourth.
One more.
Okay.
Is this it?
C100.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So most of it is repaving, as I mentioned. So we're going to have the erosion controls everywhere that we have a straw wattle with a silt fence everywhere where it pitches downward off of the property. Everywhere that we don't have a straw wattle, the land is pitching towards the pavement. So that way any silt or sediment that is coming from the pavement will be captured by the silt fence and the straw wattle. We also will have silt sacks in every catch basin around the property. All of the stormwater right now goes towards the closed drainage system. It's a network of catch basins, some drain manholes, and then it discharges out of a culvert into Beaver Brook. To make sure that if anything actually gets through the silt sacks, we're going to put some straw bales at the culvert, so that way anything that makes its way through will be filtered out before it gets to Beaver Brook. And that is most of the site prep plan. So could we go to the next sheet?
This is the layout and pavement.
Yep. Yeah, so this one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the property at all. Basically, the pavement is just in complete garbage condition right now. There's a lot of alligator cracking. They put speed bumps in the low points, so the speed bumps extend across the gutter lines, so it's just damming up water. There are no concrete pads for the dumpsters, so there's heavy rutting where the tires are, and a lot of it's a trip hazard. There's drainage problems, so most of it is just regrading in generally the same elevations. There's a lot of match points because there are a lot of concrete walkways. So although the grading plan might look extensive, in most places it's not changing by more than a couple inches. We're just trying to get a little bit more of a crown on the pavement, pitch everything away from the parking spaces a little bit more. But we're not changing the hydrology at all. Everything really just goes to the closed drainage system, and it will continue to do so. The ADA spaces just are not done correctly. They aren't up to code. So while we're out there regrading, we're going to make sure that they have the right slopes, the right signage, that they will actually connect to walkways, as where some of them don't today. And we're adding some bike racks. One important thing to notice is that we actually have more pavement than we need per zoning. So pretty much the entire perimeter, we're reducing the impervious area. We are not expanding impervious area in any location. It's probably a little hard to see up here, but if you look at the pages, you can see the existing Cape Cod berm and edge of pavement. Almost all of it's getting pushed in. So we will be reducing overall impervious area. We're going to be keeping a little bit more distance to the wetlands. And then everywhere where we're removing pavement, it's going to just match the existing lawn area that surrounds it today.
So you are moving the pavement back slightly along the wetland side, right?
Wherever we can. So we reduced, well, a lot of the drive aisles were about 28 feet, and Chelmsford only requires 24 feet. Granted, the parking spaces were only 18 feet long, and they need to be 19 feet, but that still leaves us with a few feet of slack, where we just pulled it into the dead minimum for zoning, which is perfectly adequate for cars.
Okay. Anything else to present?
I don't think so.
All right. David, you've been out there and looked at this?
Yep, did the site visit with Hildy. So first question is, so what is the purpose of adding the 2 new catch basins?
So that area is incredibly flat nowadays. So the stormwater slightly pitches towards the catch basins near the entrance, but it's at approximately 0.2%. Even 0.5% is terrible. So what we wanted to do was add some catch basins and actually get the stormwater to pitch towards the drainage system instead of just ponding there because it's simply too flat. I was originally hoping to lower those catch basins, but at that point, the entrance is a little bit fixed because they have like a nice vertical granite median at the entrance there. So we're pretty fixed on those elevations. So if I drop the catch basins, the driveway entrance is going to be tilted too much, and the grading didn't work. So I had to add the 2 new catch basins just to connect to the existing system. But again, the stormwater does eventually go to that system regardless. We're just trying to get it there efficiently instead of just ponding for a while.
So there's no increase in the net volume of runoff.
No,
but is there any increase in the rate of runoff? Even temporarily.
No, I mean, we're only removing impervious area. We're not adding any impervious area at all. We're not adding any stormwater to the system. It is just a reduction of impervious area. And I'm not trying to say that we are removing a ton of impervious area. It's usually a couple feet around the perimeter, but it is a reduction.
Okay, so I think this can be a negative determination. I think it's primarily erosion control.
Yeah.
There's really, I think it complies with the regulations. It is work in degraded riverfront area. The regulations say, an improvement needs to be done. There is a slight improvement that's being made. The stormwater regulations say, improvement to the maximum extent practicable. I'm satisfied that's being done. So I personally think it can be a negative determination. DEP seems to have some maybe other ideas. So this is just an email I received from Jenna Parada of DEP. It appears the proposed project is subject to the provisions of the Wetlands Protection Act, and the notice of intent is required. As described in the RDA, proposed work includes full-depth repaving and addition of new catch basins and resetting existing drainage and utility features. Work would occur within the riverfront area itself as well as buffer zone, and does not appear to fall under any category of the minor activities described in 310 CMR 10.022B2. Well, but it doesn't have to be exempt. You know, if it does not, you know, alter an area subject to protection, it can still be a negative determination with conditions. Again, I think the concerns can easily be addressed with erosion control. You know, even though it's full depth, you know, repavement. Again, you know, this is not my first rodeo. I've seen plenty of projects like this where, yeah, the main issue is erosion control. So. I think it can be a negative determination with a few conditions. Having said that, DEP, you know, it's their prerogative to appeal it if they don't like that, in which case, you know, they would have to come back and file a notice of intent anyway. And speaking with Hildy, it sounds like, you know, they wouldn't be planning on doing the work until next spring anyway. So, I think my understanding from you, Hildy, was that, you know, you're willing to take, or the applicant's willing to take their chances if the commission decides it's a negative determination.
Yeah, they would much rather save their money. They don't have a strict schedule, and we honestly kind of filed pretty early for what they needed. So we do have time, so if there's anything about that, they would like to save on the, a lot of abutter notifications and the state filing fee and whatnot. So that would be preferred.
Just, okay, I'll be quiet. Peter?
Hi, Hildy.
Hi.
I have a couple of questions. So our regulations assume there's an impact on the environment of any project unless there's evidence to the contrary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the way I've been thinking about this. And the environmental impact that I see is direct discharge to one of our cherished streams, albeit not very big, Beaver Brook. So I'm thinking, what happens in the winter when there's a flush of salt? I mean, I assume that this HOA puts salt on their pavement. I would. So my question is, isn't the peak, your calculation showed there's no increase in runoff? Because you're not changing
We didn't do
the pavement.
calculations because we're reducing the impervious area and converting it to grass. There is just, there is a peak reduction in flow.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be increasing from removing the pavement and replacing with grass. So we didn't actually run the calculations.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for calculations,
Yeah.
but so a couple quick questions, and then we can move on. We don't need to make this a big deal. But you could help me understand this. If the current pavement is broken, that means there's some infiltration of stormwater through the broken pavement. So if we're gonna pave the whole area flat with pavement that isn't broken, to me, that's a potential increase in runoff. But my real question is, if there's 2 additional catch basins, so let me back up. The impact that I'm thinking about is the salt can kill the invertebrates, the critters in the mud in Beaver Brook. But we don't have any data to show that, so that's, you know, shame on us. We don't really know what's going on. However, the way the salt kills the base of the food web is when the salt concentrations are higher than than the baseline. And those become higher when it rains after you've put salt on the pavement. So my question is, by adding 2 catch basins, aren't you increasing, maybe not the total amount of stormwater, but the volume that, in a given hour, that gets flushed into the stream? So what I've been thinking about is, if we're flushing more salt at a faster rate into Beaver Brook, the question I'm asking, how do we know if that has an environmental impact on the brook? And of course, the answer is we don't have the data, and it's probably beyond the scope of this hearing to get into that. But I wanted to put some of those ideas on the table, and why don't we go on to other questions?
All right. Ally?
All set, thank you.
Chris?
I like the ideas that our agent was suggesting earlier, so.
Okay. Mark?
Excuse me. You're doing all regrading around all the areas being regraded? You're not doing any planing at all there?
Slightly. It just isn't crowned correctly. It isn't tilting away from the paved areas correctly. The regrading is very minor, although it does look extensive because I tend to overgrade my grading plans. The whole thing is getting slightly regraded to match all of the existing walkways, which are not changing.
So you're removing all the existing?
All the existing pavement, yep, and the Cape Cod berm, and replacing it.
No, I'm good. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay. Bill?
I agree with David. I think it's an erosion control issue for the most part with all the stuff you're taking out, but I think you're improving the site. I think I'd go the route of that David was talking about, and that's how I feel about it.
Okay. John?
No, I think the erosion control's the main thing when you repave. And are you gonna pulverize this or remove the asphalt?
We don't have a contractor on there yet. We're gonna have to talk to them and figure out what they're gonna do with the
Usually they
pavement.
pulverize. They come in and pulverize it, regrade it, binder and top it. But
Yeah, we'll have to look at pricing. There's a lot of logistics involved just because we don't know where to put everyone in their cars as well.
Right.
So we're hoping to get a contractor on relatively soon, whenever we have an idea of where permitting's going.
just go next door to the Elks and talk to Katie.
That was
She'll charge you like $2 a car.
That was actually our suggestion to the board was, you might want to go make a deal with them, or just park on your lawn, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, anything else? No?
Nope, I'm
David?
good.
I just have a couple of quick responses to the points Peter raised. So again, and I think it bears repetition, there's going to be a net reduction, slight, but there's going to be a net reduction in the amount of pavement, a net reduction in the amount of pervious surface, impervious surface. So that means that there's going to be a net reduction in volume. But I think another issue too is that I think that the two existing catch basins, those then aren't going to be used, or they're not going to function after the new catch basins are put in, right? Because the runoff is going to be intercepted before it gets.
They'll still capture stormwater from the entrance itself, because the driveway pitches down from 110, and so that stormwater is still going to be going to those catch basins. We just won't have the stormwater between the amenity building that just is trickling very slowly towards the catch basins, but is getting there. But they will still be in use. And I did want to mention, when it comes to saying that there is infiltration in the cracks, that subgrade is so highly compacted that there really is not much. If you look at the hydrology, if you have, my gosh, I don't know how to not go into too much detail here. Pavement is very close to like a dirt road, just because once you drive over it and over it, it compacts so heavily that it really isn't providing much, if any, infiltration. There's a slight difference in the calculation, but even a dirt road is considered impervious by all engineering calculations.
Yeah, that makes sense, but you have to agree that the peak flow may very well be greater if you're draining the parking lot quicker with the new catch basins.
Certainly not with the modeling, to be honest.
We're in the weeds here.
Yeah.
All right. This is a public hearing, so is there any comments from the public? Anybody online or in the audience? I don't see either person moving, so.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we close this hearing.
I'll take that motion from Chris. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ally. All in favor to close? Aye. All right.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we approve with a negative determination with some special conditions. What were you thinking of, David?
Well, it'd be a -2 and a -3.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, it's basically standard, just be, you know, installation of the erosion control, you know, I inspect it, you know, then there's some other pretty standard ones, like, you know, no dumpsters within, you know, I think in this case, we could say the 100-foot buffer zone. If you look at the overall site, I mean, there's probably 25% at most of the site is in the commission's jurisdiction. So I think that's another reason it could be a negative. But I think it's basically standard.
All right, so -2 and 3 determination with basically our standard conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to go look at the
Yeah.
erosion control.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
key to this, because he's doing all,
Yeah.
digging all that stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one I can handle.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
small enough.
Yeah, okay. All right, motion from Chris, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, second from Ally, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Nice
you.
presentation,
Thank
good
you.
project. Hopefully,
It's like, yeah.
Hopefully we'll,
Quite the agenda.
get to the spring and we'll be able to move forward. We'll see how the state responds. Okay, next up, we are moving forward here. Notice of intent, this is continued from October 28th. New England Power Company, 100 Ecuador Road. This is the other project that's straddling the Lowell-Chelmsford line. And we should have Bridget Hilgendorf online, or Vanessa Hangen-Bruslin.
So they have requested a continuance to December 9th.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay.
We're working on revised plans.
That's right, okay, they have requested, okay. I missed that one, okay. And you did receive a proposal for stormwater review? On
I
that?
did, but that was before I was informed that there would be revised plans.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's gonna have to be put on hold pending receipt of the plans. I told them that I needed them by noon on the Wednesday prior to the Tuesday hearing.
And it didn't make it, so, okay.
Well, I haven't received them at all.
Yeah,
yet. I'm
yeah,
still
so,
working on them.
okay, we'll continue it. So I'll take a motion to continue this hearing to December 9th.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion from Chris, second from Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. We will continue the New England Power Company 100 Ecuador Road. Okay, so, we already did pro-generation, and finally, and then so notice of intent continued from July for let's just say the Chelmsford Mall, all those addresses, and the applicant has withdrawn the NOI application.
Yes.
So I guess I just take a motion to close the hearing.
I moved to close the hearing.
Motion from Chris, second from Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll close that hearing. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we are in discussion, and we had our Wetlands and Bylaw Regs Subcommittee a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry I didn't get the minutes out to the subcommittee, but Chris, do you want to do a short update of
Sure.
what we talked about?
Yeah, we're looking at a few possible changes that we'd be obviously presenting to the full commission. One of them was trying to strengthen our oversight over floodplain. Okay, you know, we've seen certainly flooding as an issue that's an ongoing issue for the town. A lot of it's, you know, just environmental changes, but we wanted to have more control, potential control over the floodplain. And one of those things would be to add the floodplain as an area that we'd have a buffer zone. So the concern would be is then we'd be able to look at what's going on outside the actual floodplain and how its influence might adversely impact the functions of the floodplain. So we're taking a look at that relatively small but significant change. And the subcommittee was thinking that honestly, we thought we'd probably have support at town meeting if we were to go in on that one. And so it's out to town council to take a look at how we might word it and aggressive. That was like one change for the bylaw we're taking a look at. Then we were taking a look on the regulation side of a couple of potential changes with, one was, again, you know, lawn. You know, too often we've seen in new projects where, you know, they come in and the lawn's like right up to the, you know, the edge of our buffer lines. And so we're looking at maybe having some sort of a setback for lawns, again, dealing with new projects coming in, not like impacting existing homes out there in the community. But we're taking a look at a regulation change there. And whether it's, I don't know, how many feet were we talking about, do you remember in the meeting?
I think we were talking about a 50-foot setback from wetlands for lawn, rather than the current 25-foot.
Right, so we're looking at 50 foot, but we can talk about whether it's 50 foot or 25 foot or 30 foot, but the idea was to have that setback and have it in our regulations and try to, impact and reduce that. There'd be advantages to the habitat and the wildlife by pulling the lawn back. And I know personally, I've got my little place down in Cape Cod, and I've got a neighbor of mine that's got he mows right up to the edge of the wetlands, the marsh. He's just right up to the edge. And then, myself and a couple of my other neighbors, we have kind of a natural, vegetation and stuff. So there's a transition between the lawn and then before you hit the water. But this guy's got it he mows it right up to the end, and he's throwing, the fertilizers on and all that stuff, which isn't good for the environment. So we're looking at that change. And then there's something else, Peter, you were talking about as well, too, that we're gonna have town council take a look at least to get a question on.
Well, one of the questions was, should we look at future rainfall when we're evaluating stormwater management systems? Because we know they're currently designed for a lower level of rain than we're actually experiencing. And I need to finish my conversation with our DPW engineers, but they are starting to look at the rainfall forecast for 2070, not as a regulation, but encouraging property developers to design the system to not flood when it rains, because what's happening is what used to be a 100-year storm, and it's not, the data's not that clear. It's clear it's raining more, but basically the 100-year storms are happening every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So what it means is if you design it for an unlikely event, which is what I was taught when I was a kid, designed for a 100-year storm, that hardly ever happens. Well, now that amount of rainfall for a 100-year storm is happening every couple of years. So the question is, do we do anything about that? And I don't actually have a clear recommendation. I need to talk some more with our DPW engineers.
So we will be doing some more update, or I guess a final, I think the hope was that we'll hear from the town council.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I think the highest priority at this point is to, resolve going to town meeting.
Yep.
So I think we should tentatively plan to do that, for, I guess, the next annual town meeting. I think, the regulations are just as important, but I think we can afford to take a look at that, a little bit longer
Because
horizon.
it doesn't require town meeting
Right.
for the regulations.
So the town meeting is for what, which one?
That would be the floodplain. So
Floodplain.
we'd be
Adding buffer
adding
zone
a
to the
buffer
floodplain.
zone for the floodplain, to protect the floodplain better by regulating what's happening in the buffer zone that's
And there,
adjacent to it.
and there are other towns similar to
There's
that.
many towns actually have that change. In fact, the standard Mass Association of Conservation Commissioners actually has that in their recommended bylaw. So we would be really just kind of getting in line with
Catching
what's
up.
kind of happening across the state.
Yeah, and it's like a 3-word revision to the bylaw.
Exactly.
It's really
I don't know how to word
So
it,
the
but
timing wise, what I was hearing earlier in terms of getting something in front of the select board, we have till the middle of February. So we would want to review this and get the wording by probably our first meeting in January so that we can submit it by the end of January, I think. That sounds about right. But again, that would be for the bylaw.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
Appreciate it. All right, next up, we are on land management. So, Peter, we had some nice new signs installed, dog on leash signs installed at a handful of our sites. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Well, yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jeff over at Thanksgiving Forest. He took Carl came up with the sign language. I worked with DPW to get the signs, and Jeff spent some time building some special fittings to pound them into the ground. Just a rebar, but it's a little fancier than that. And I think you noticed Jeff painted them. They look beautiful, and then we put them in the ground, didn't we? At 4 locations.
Yeah, so they're at Thanksgiving, at Cranberry Bog, at Russell Mill, and at Warren Pole. Those are the ones that, from my experience, I see loose dogs the most.
Yes.
That's, you know, I don't see them loose so much at Crooked Spring or Oak Hill or,
Yep.
yeah, those are the most populous ones. So
Yep.
again, that's a town bylaw. That is not a Chelmsford Conservation Commission bylaw, that dogs must be on leash. But we, you know, being the stewards for that land, owning, you know, being responsible for that land, I think with some of the incidents that we've
Yeah.
seen in town and in Carlisle, we felt like we should do something.
Yep.
And I think this is a good medium. We can pull the signs out of the ground fairly easy and get them out of the way for the winter maybe, or leave them there all winter. I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to work through this. My informal survey is compliance is about 1 out of 7.
Yeah.
But I don't think we want to,
Yeah.
just, you know, trust people to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had 2 other quick things to share.
Sure.
Just quickly, I had a chance to spend 2 hours with Scout Troop 75 Saturday. They are working on a civics merit badge. They had asked David if somebody in town could meet with them and describe what government is doing on the invasive problem. And I had another member of the tree committee and also another fellow that's interested in getting involved in communications and the Scouts. So we can talk more about that, but that was fun. And then on our communications program, there were 2 articles are coming out next week related to our natural resource mission.
These are in the town
Town
manager's
newsletter, and
So if you don't get it, you should be reading it.
And we're hoping that we get those onto the Concom website as well. We'll work on that. But one is a shout out to Giancarlo Kalpis, who was recognized by the Sudbury Valley Trust. I think, Carl, you went to the dinner.
Wasn't a dinner, but yeah.
Or an event.
The annual meeting.
Yeah,
their
and
annual meeting.
I think they recognized her for her pollinator work, but also 3 decades of bluebird conservation.
Yeah.
So that's great to see a Chelmsford person recognized by our regional agency. Then there'll be a little article about a Chelmsford Village tree planting. Concom met with the condo folks and the tree committee over the fall, and they basically planted 15 trees. They ended up not putting them any in our buffer zones, but, you know, because half of that condo complex across from McCarthy School, 2/3 of the buildings are actually in either the riverfront buffer or the 100-foot wetland buffer, so that's why they reached out to David. But we were able to help them, and there'll be an article about that. And then the upcoming article, folks are working on one for Red Wing, and I think we copied you to get your input on how you wanted to present the Concom piece, because it was really the Indivia folks and the Land Trust. So that's another community volunteer spotlight kind of thing. So those are the updates.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Chris, you mentioned earlier Crooked Spring was doing pretty good.
Crooked Spring is looking great. I did a walk out there this afternoon. Some nice work. There was a bridge in the back trail that needed some work, and
That's the one by the lagoon.
by that little lagoon over there, and it's been really beautifully repaired. Just a really nice job. So it was a bit of a safety hazard before, and that's been really fixed up nice. Trails look good. A number of large trees had come down in the last few weeks, and they were like, somebody with a chainsaw went in and did some nice work clearing the trail. So the trails were really looking good. Everything was nice out there. I mean, one thing to think about for a possible down the line with Crooked Spring is, I know in years past, it was a nice skating pond in the winter. And what's happened over the last 25, 30 years is it's just filled in. So it's filled in with some vegetation, you get some invasives, you've got, trees laying across it. So maybe at some point there might be a way that we could dredge an area of the pond where we could have a skating, get that skating pond back in action again. It was really popular with the neighborhood for years.
Does the water freeze around here anymore?
It does sometimes.
It does.
It does. But anyway, just a possible restoration project down the line somewhere.
If I could comment too, that pond water level probably doesn't change, or does it? I'm trying to remember. Like some of the other skating ponds are
It changes
dangerous.
to a certain extent as the dam as buildup at the dam, the metal dam happens, the water then builds up behind that, and I don't know that it's beavers doing it, I don't think it's that, it's just like debris.
But it's probably
And the DPW cleared it all last spring, I think, or last year, and once they cleared it, the water level went back down.
But it's probably a safer place than, for example, Russell Mill Pond.
It's very narrow, it's not very deep, to your point.
Yeah.
It's just a couple inches now.
Okay.
It's a couple inches.
And Mark, anything, I know we got our money on Red Wing, speaking of Red Wing, that just all cleared, so everything's all done on the,
Yep.
that's all.
The gates are all done.
The gate's done, yeah.
Yep. I have been up to, my quarry.
Yeah, okay. All right, and John, I just said, we put that sign up at Russell Mill, but other than that, I was over there a while ago and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
What's the deal with those speed bumps out there on the road?
No, don't go there. Don't get me going.
Troublemaker.
I didn't,
The environmental impact of them,
Not to mention how they destroy town vehicles.
town vehicles,
And then,
Just- anybody's, taxpayers' vehicles.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Oak Hill and Deep Brook, I told Bill, you said you didn't see the beaver dam a
It
couple
wasn't,
weeks
I was
ago.
there a week and a half ago, and it wasn't what it is now.
There's a big beaver dam there now, right by the bridge, right coming off the DPW lot. It's like, if you go to that bridge and look upstream towards Scotty Hollow, that beaver dam is just about as tall as the desks here. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, where did that come from?
They did it there last year, too.
Yeah, so David's gonna take a look at it and we're gonna see, we might see if we can put a beaver deceiver in there, cause that's
Yeah.
enough height to install one. And that would, keep flow, water flowing through, but the beaver wouldn't be able to stop it, so.
And hopefully it's not gonna cause a problem for anyone in the
Yeah.
meantime.
Yeah, so I think if we got on that earlier, then, that would mitigate that problem before it becomes a problem
Yeah.
upstream, yeah, so. Anything else that?
There's a tree down at Oak Hill that we have to take care of.
You got time tomorrow?
Sure.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We can deal with it, yeah.
Yep.
Rain.
And then, we'll talk about Coolis.
Yeah, Coolis. A lot of good things are going on at Coolis. A lot of energies up there, doing a lot of work. But first of all, I want to thank, this has turned around in the last couple of months to where everybody's working together. There's a lot of work being done, there's a lot of volunteers. And this comes right down from the manager's office through DPW to those, between Paul Cohen and Christine Clancy and Joe Erickson of the DPW. One day we had a backhoe up there, an excavator, a bobcat, a tractor, and there was something else for equipment on site, with guys digging out concrete, clearing the fields in the areas we wanted cleared. I mean, it's really, I want to thank those people for just being behind the effort. Now, as far as volunteers, we've got Sue and Will Obendorf, who are the conservation stewards. They go to the site every day. I hear from them regularly as far as their input, and I tell them what I know that's going on. And then we've been working alongside the Coolis, Friends of Coolis, with John Ray, Dave Dodge, clearing the fields along the walls. We've had, a week ago, we had about 20 people from a church on Route 110, volunteers, that did a ton of work up there along the walls, clearing all the invasives and stuff. Last weekend, there was probably 5 or 6 volunteers. They cleared an area that's gonna be a sledding area on the right-hand side. It was the old silage pit.
Oh, yeah.
They cleared that out. We had a piece of equipment, Ken Dews brought his tractor down, he's got a claw on the front, cleaned all that out, cleaned along the walls, so that's looking great. When I was there that day, that was a week and a half ago, I'd say, I talked to John Ray, and mentioned to him, I says, it'd be nice if we could get a trail extending from the existing trail on the left side around the vernal pool and back to the parking area. I think within a day, John had talked to Phil Stanway, to Dave Dodge, and they were out there marking the trail within a couple of days. I went up there, walked that, they put green ribbons on the tree if you want to go by there. There's green ribbons of the proposed trail. I walked it a couple days ago. David Kuntz and I walked it today. I explained to him what we were trying to do with the trail. There's a lot of invasives. It was an old farm road or farm path, and there's a lot of invasives. You can't do it by hand. So we're gonna get a little machine with the claw on the front and clean out where the trail's proposed to go. So we have a system where we get an idea. People who want to run with it, do it. They contact me. We look at it. I bring it back to the board, and we vote on it, whether that's something we want to do as a whole. So we have a good system. We're getting a lot of input. Phil Stanway, who's been doing most of the trails in town, he jumped right in. He's the one that laid the trail out. It looks nice. So thanks to him, too, for helping with that. And those guys are ready to go. What I'd like to do tonight is get a vote from the board for us to continue that work, to get a machine in there. It's dry right now. It's the right time of year to do it, and clear out all the invasives and pile it up. We'll burn it at some point, and just give them the opportunity to get that trail going now. The momentum's there. We've got the help to do it. So I'd hate to see us not just keep moving. We've got the town backing us up 100%. We've got the volunteers backing us up 100%.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. We've got a lot of people. I saw I saw a bobcat up there. I saw a huge buck up there last week. I mean, there's a lot of things going on up there.
I saw a couple of kids riding bikes up there, too.
Yeah. I saw we saw their bike,
They weren't
tracks.
motorized. They were regular
bikes.
Yeah.
And there's people up there regularly walking dogs, and there's people using the site. So we just want to keep making it a better place to go.
So the motion would be to approve using some equipment on a trail. It's close to the vernal pool, but you're okay with it?
It's on the other side of the wall from the vernal
Yeah,
pool.
no, it's plenty far away.
It's
enough away
plenty far away.
for that. And then it turns right away from it.
Yeah, and it goes up towards there's a paper road further up. It goes up towards
In that
that,
direction.
because we're trying to get a path that people can come down from that paper road, hook onto this trail, and make a nice,
That's the road that the UPS drivers get stuck on.
right.
And getting rid of those invasives is gonna be a
Right.
huge help. to
So
the
even
vernal
having a
pool.
trail in there
Yeah.
to give us better access to get in there. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so I'll take a motion. Why
I
don't you,
move, I'll move then that we approve, the commission approves this new trail out there at the Cool's property.
as described by Bill?
Yeah, it's around in the vernal pool area.
Near the vernal pool
Yeah,
area.
and I'd like to get,
And then we allow some equipment to get in there.
Right.
And assist in the work.
right.
All right, motion from Chris,
Second.
second from Ally, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
I had a question, but that's all right.
Okay. So, excellent, this is
Thank you,
great, this is
thank you.
great.
Good job, Bill.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Bill.
No,
Let's,
it's-
oh, and so split rail fence.
Oh, that's another thing, yeah. So we met today, David and I met with the fence company to get pricing for a split rail fence that would go around the buffer of the vernal pool area. It's about 650 feet, I'd say, in that range of
Yes,
fencing.
total.
Total.
Yes.
And for probably a 70-foot, 80-foot guardrail between the parking area and the field. So
Be a
that
nicer looking
it'd be nice.
fence than the
The rocks, yeah, we'll put the rocks, make it part of the wall and put the guardrail.
So we'll get that quote. I think we'll talk about the financing for that. We can either go to CPC, which would be a bit more time, or maybe there's, depending on what the quote comes in, you said you'll get it next week? Is
Next
that right?
week.
That's what he said, yes.
Then
Two
We'll figure that
rail,
out.
three.
Two.
Two rail,
Two rail.
yeah.
Yeah, for
It's
this,
more
it's
than
just two.
enough.
rail.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll look good.
Yeah, we're not keeping any, in fact, we don't want to keep animals in or out. We want to let them.
Right, and the last thing is, I spoke to them at the quarry yesterday,
Oh.
and should be getting our granite sign within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that'll be all done before the frost. So
Hopefully.
what our goal is keep pushing. We don't want it to drag on. We want to keep pushing. Everybody's working together. Everybody knows the system and the way we're going about doing it. So it was checks and balances all the way through, and it's been going great.
Good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. I can tell you the Cranberry Bog, you guys, I sent you that drone footage that we did.
That was cool.
It was very cool to watch Pete. Pete Dews, who's not, I don't think he's working tonight, but he's with Chelmsford Telemedia. But in case anybody wants to see this, if you look on YouTube, look up Peter Dews Photography, DEWS Photography, and he has a YouTube channel, and you can find drone footage of the Cranberry Bog. It was taken last week, I think it was Wednesday, and it's pretty much the raw footage that he took, and he did a really good job. There's no music or anything fancy. There's no titles, no anything like that. But it goes from it starts at the more or less at the dam, and then goes around it goes around the east side down, all the way down to the Carlisle side, comes back to the dam, and then it goes around the island, which is on the north end up near Hart Pond, does a circle around the island, and then there's another section that goes down the west side of the water flow down to the Cranberry Bog in Carlisle. And it's a really good view, and it's a very interesting perspective to see this. But Peter Dews Photography on YouTube, you can see it. Anybody can see it. It's very interesting to see.
And he's very enthusiastic about
Yeah.
doing more of this.
So we're gonna look at doing that at, I wanna do it at Warren Pole, at Russell Mill, and at Coolis. And then, I don't know how much it would help to do it at like Oak Hill, which is all trees, Lime Quarry, some of the other sites, we'll see. It might be worth trying it somewhere else, but yeah.
It's all pretty much canopy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean.
Does he need an advanced pilot's license to fly through trees?
He's got pretty sophisticated technology, and he's got his license. He's a certified
But not through the woods.
pilot.
Not through the woods.
It's actually the device he has, the machine he has sensors that will not allow it to fly into anything. It's pretty, in fact, if you watch him go around the island, it suddenly stops because it realizes it's close to a tree, and he's like, oh, I'm in a tree, and it was on the far side, we couldn't see it. And he had to like take it up and then over and then come down. It was very impressive. It was quite impressive. I'll tell you, Warren Pole, the DPW has started doing some cutting in the area between the parking lot and the kiosk, that area, and the brook. So this morning they were over there cutting that area. So we're talking about doing some kind of an accessibility trail in that area, and this allows us to have a much better view in there. It's a rough cut. It's a brush hog, so it's not grass or anything like that. But they're going to do some more cutting of the fields there, depending on the weather and their timing. But Joe did that. Joe Erickson did that. It's a great job. Looked good. The Wright Reservation. A couple of things. Number one is we are having an ATV issue. We have someone is visiting that site on an ATV, coming through the site and going in or out of the power lines over by Burning Bush Lane, Burning Bush Road, whatever that is. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Dave and I have some ideas. We're talking about maybe getting a trail cam and doing something there so we can try to get some better understanding of what's really happening there. So we're probably gonna chase that, because I think for us to have a trail cam makes a lot of sense for the reasons of these kinds of, let's call them disruptions on our site that are not something we're in favor of. Second thing is, if it's doing nothing else, we can have wildlife, looking for wildlife. And I think we could also do some, I wouldn't want to do it with faces, but you could do it with feet at some sites, just to get an idea of number of visitors. You could just have it kind of looking at how many feet are walking by, including four-leggeds or whatever. So there's some good use of a trail cam for us, I think, on our different sites. And historically, we have had issues. We had some issues at Crooked Spring in the parking lot quite a few months ago. We've had other sites with issues, so I think we'd get good use out of it. So we're talking like $100, $130 for a trail cam. It's not a lot of money. And then, and then the last thing is just, there have been, at the Wright Reservation, one walkway was removed and the trail was rerouted we had the approval from the if you guys remember, I left a meeting here in July for 10 minutes to go to the Historical Commission. We got the approval so that we could move a couple of rocks. Well, we did that last week. We moved the rocks, got rid of the wooden walkway. The trail's now been rerouted, so that's good. Another bridge was replaced on Wright Reservation last week, and another bridge was repaired today at Wright Reservation. So a lot of stuff happening there. It's getting upgraded. There's still a lot more there. There is a lot of structures at the Wright Reservation. We still have the Lime Quarry Bridge on our list. It's a small, but we gotta get there and get that fixed too. And good to hear that the Crooked Spring one was repaired. Sorry, Peter, you have something else? Okay, all right. And then David, you were gonna talk about, there were a couple of events, requests?
Yep, so the day before Thanksgiving Forest Walk is tomorrow. And so that's all been approved. I guess Fire Chief said he had essentially approved the burning.
Yeah, what I understood, we just talked with him earlier tonight, what I understood him saying is he doesn't see any issue with that, as it's was expecting rain overnight, and the way the crew's been handling that fire management over the years, very comfortable with it, so that's good to hear. It's good, it's a great event.
A great event.
Yep,
Hey, if you
yep.
haven't gone to it, I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot of fun.
2 o'clock tomorrow at Janet Road, or you can go in via Gary Road, I think it's the other entrance.
So, and then CAUS is also doing the annual tree decorating event at Thanksgiving Forest, Coolest Farm, and Cranberry Bog.
And other sites in town, but those are 3 on our site.
Yes,
on our-
those
yep,
are the conservation
yep,
property.
yep. Okay,
Commission
good.
properties.
I'm glad to see that continuing, you know.
That's a great event to get people out. I hope we get them cleaned up afterwards, but yeah, it's a great event. It gets a lot of families out, people out to see different sites in town. So it's a good thing to see that continuing. Okay, anything else, David, on your?
Not on the agent's report.
Okay, so next is the CR for the 255 Princeton Street. I did read it and feel comfortable with it. We need to just vote and approve to.
And sign it.
And sign it,
Yes.
okay.
So, but there is one other thing on this. So, we gotta discuss how this is gonna work, is it has to be notarized.
Okay.
So, your boss is a notary, I believe.
Maria is, yes.
Maria is, so somebody, and maybe you can check with her. I don't.
warned me, I'm a notary.
You're a notary?
She needs to tell me these things.
I can come in whenever. You want me to sign it?
Well, what I don't know is if whoever is the notary will they want everyone? Because it does have a list here for everybody.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So would they want everyone to
Well,
personally appear?
Let me suggest we do it at our next meeting if Vivian can be the notary.
Do that.
There's a
Does
fee
that
for
work?
that, right?
No, I don't charge nothing.
Joke.
I could, but
Can
I
we
don't
sign it
bother.
now? And-
No, you can't. You have to sign it when the
Right.
notary is,
Because I have a
Well,
book
she's
I
here.
have to fill out. And
Yeah.
but she has to fill it all out.
Yeah.
She has to have her stamp and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
well,
wife's a
Done
notary,
that
so
stuff.
I know how it works. And I never push a notary to stretch the rules.
Right. Okay, well, thanks for piping up.
I don't
We
know.
can put that off until.
Yeah, okay. And then a CFC for 28 Parley?
Yes, So, and a couple of things. So
I'm
an
sorry.
extension for
Okay.
Parley and a certificate of compliance for 24 Shed Lane. On the certificate of compliance, that work was never done. So that's the box that's checked in valid order of conditions.
Okay.
So I think, you know, these both can be done in a single motion.
And what exactly is the extension? It's just to,
They've been delayed, the work has actually started, this is a new, can't remember, there's a new addition or a garage.
okay.
But for some reason, it got delayed, and it's well underway now, but they need a little bit more time. I just put in an additional 3 years.
Okay.
You know, I don't think they're gonna need that much, but no
Hopefully
downside.
not. Okay.
All right, Carl, I make a motion then that we approve the extension of 129-0938. That would be 28 Parley Road for 3 years, as well as approve the certificate of compliance with respect to 129-0883 for 24 Shed Lane.
For a non-execution.
An invalid order.
Invalid order.
For
Yeah,
invalid
the
order.
work was never started.
The work was never started. Right.
Motion from Chris, second?
Second.
Second from Ally, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, very good. Take a motion to adjourn?
No,
Uh,
Christmas party.
Let's talk after.
Oh.
Let's do that after, offline.
I move to adjourn then.
Second.
Motion from Chris, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, Chelmsford Television.